Greetings, cadets. In this video, we will be going over tips for being the flight commander. We will be going over accepting responsibility, how safety comes first, knowing your team, delegating, and getting continuity. The boss means taking the heat. If something goes wrong, just accept that it is your fault. Now, I had trouble with this concept when I first started out because I could never make my team do things against their will, so why should I be accountable for their actions? This is where working with your team to fix things early kicks in. Work with them to find and solve problems early, before it becomes time for evaluations. The video that we have created about accountability will be an excellent resource to help you with this. But remember, nothing will ever be 100% perfect, so choose your battles carefully and don't get overstressed by all the little details. Safety first. Do not be so focused on looking good in front of cadre and fellow cadets you forget to be safe, like having your PT group run across a busy street. Failure to accomplish your task, such as marching across the square, is pretty bad. But failure to remain safe and keeping your people safe is disastrous. Communication is one of the most ignored parts of leadership, but it starts with trusting your team, and that starts with getting to know them. Many people have a built-in belief that if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. But your way is not the only way, and diversity is an important part of what makes America and the Air Force great. Take the time to meet with and learn about your team, not just the surface details like their major and hobby. As you get to know each person better, you'll be able to see their strengths and their weaknesses, and how they can contribute those things to the team as a whole. Delegation is the hardest part for most people, but it is so crucial that you give other people responsibilities. You already assign out flight leadership roles, so use those roles. If you try to do everything, you will be overwhelmed and be unable to operate at peak capacity. Use your knowledge of your team to assign the tasks. Now, one thing that people forget about delegation is that as the leader, you must still keep your team accountable for the tasks you delegate them. You can't just give them a task and pop up again 3 years later wondering what happened with it. Tips for keeping people accountable will be covered in a separate video. But also, do not micromanage. That defeats the purpose of delegation. It makes it so they don't want to do their task because you're staring over their shoulder and you might as well be doing it for them. And it keeps them from showing their creativity and showing what a stellar cadet they are. Give your directions and the commander's intent, then let your cadet work. Enjoy the surprise of what other people can do. Finally, get continuity. This means learn from people who have held the job previously what worked and what did not work for them. This can include big things like general leadership principles, or small things like who doesn't do well in each position. Because people in the military switch jobs so often, there's an effect called rotational amnesia. A problem that only comes up every now and then is completely forgotten by the time it returns. If you do your continuity back far enough, you'll find previous solutions to that problem, which means you can save time and effort trying to solve it again. In conclusion, we've gone over accepting responsibility, safety first, knowing your team, delegation, and getting continuity. Here are the references for the pictures used in this presentation. Remember, this is not a comprehensive review of all of the tasks the flight commander performs, only a starting point. If you have any other suggestions or ideas, please leave them in the comment section below. And as always, the views expressed in this video do not necessarily reflect the official stance of the U.S. government, the U.S. Air Force, or Air Force ROTC. Aim high, cadets!